Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a massive, and I mean absolutely massive issue today, the second-hand smartphone market. If you've ever felt that dreaded pit in your stomach right before hitting buy on a used iPhone, trust me, you are absolutely not alone. So we're going to walk through a foolproof, step-by-step guide pulled right from our sources to help you identify genuine second-hand iPhones, and, more importantly, avoid getting totally scammed. Because honestly, are we ever truly sure that a brand new used iPhone is actually new? Online sellers and local shops have gotten incredibly sneaky at passing off older, locally repaired, or just heavily modified devices as factory sealed, pristine units. You might be sitting there thinking you're getting an unbelievable steal of a deal, but you could literally be buying a Frankenstein device patched together with cheap third-party replacement parts. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our step-by-step game plan for today. 1. The used iPhone trap. 2. Cracking the serial code. 3. Essential questions for sellers. 4. Verifying hardware with 3U tools. 5. Warranty and regional models. And finally, number 6, spotting diagnostic red flags. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the used iPhone trap. So we frequently see online merchants, places with names like Instasellers or Too Good, tricking buyers in some really deceptive ways. They'll literally take a 2 or maybe 3-year-old heavily used phone, slap a super convincing fake plastic seal on the box, and just sell it as a premium demo unit or even claim it's brand new out of the box. But what you don't see, what's hidden under the hood, is that the battery, the display screen, or maybe the entire outer body has been cheaply replaced by an unauthorized third party. Basically, you're paying top dollar for tampered hardware. Moving right along to section 2, cracking the serial code. Every single iPhone tells its own origin story right there on the Settings app. And the crazy part? All you need to check is the very first letter of the serial number. It's like a secret decoder ring. If it starts with an M, well, that's the holy grail. An original, brand new device, exactly like a pristine iPhone 12 Pro Max bought straight from an official Apple store. But if it starts with an N, that means it was replaced by Apple. Basically, someone brought in a busted phone, and Apple handed them this replacement unit. An F means it's a refurbished device, meaning it was officially repaired by Apple and resold. And finally, a P means it's a personalized or exclusive edition. Checking just this one single letter instantly categorizes the device for you, and it can totally expose any lies in a seller's story. Which brings us to section 3, essential questions for sellers. Before any money actually changes hands, our sources highly recommend going through a strict 3-step interrogation checklist. Step 1, do not, and I mean absolutely do not, just trust those glossy stock photos online. You need to ask the seller for a clear, actual photo of the back of the specific box they're planning to send you. Step 2, once you get it, zoom way in and locate the serial number printed right there on the packaging. And step 3, verify that prefix letter we just talked about. If the seller is swearing up and down it's a brand new original phone, but that serial number starts with an F or an N, well, you now have the hard facts to just walk away before ever opening your wallet. Let's get into section 4, verifying hardware with 3U tools. Now, if you haven't heard of 3U tools before, this is an absolute game changer. It's a completely free diagnostic software for your computer. When you plug an iPhone in, 3U Tools acts like a lie detector test. It compares the iPhone's original factory production state, which is recorded deep in Apple's database, to the phone's exact current hardware state. And it's super handy because not only does it help with things like data transfers or jailbreaks, but it also lets you check the exact battery health and charge cycles on older models that don't even have that official iOS battery feature built in anymore. I mean, literally in seconds, 3U Tools verifies this massive list of internal hardware components. It checks the whole shebang, your iOS version, jailbreak status, and whether the physical device color and disk capacity actually match what originally left the factory. It scans the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the motherboard, your exact battery health and charge cycles. It even goes as far as verifying both the front and rear cameras. Seriously, if some local shops swapped out a busted camera for a cheap knockoff, this software is 100% gonna catch it. Next up, section 5, warranty and regional models. Now, what's really interesting about this is a specific case study from our sources. Picture this, an iPhone 8 bought from that site called Instasellers. It was sold as a brand new factory sealed device, but the second it was plugged into 3U Tools, the whole truth came spilling out. First off, it had an N prefix, meaning it was a replacement unit. Definitely not retail new. And second, 3U Tools revealed it was actually a Japanese unit that had been secretly and totally unofficially imported into India. And hey, you might be thinking, so what? Well, this impacts you, the buyer, in a really major way. Official global Apple warranties are rock solid, but unofficial seller warranties, they are practically useless. Because that iPhone 8 was a regional Japanese import, it completely lacked official local Apple coverage in India. Even though the 3U Tools diagnostic showed it had a perfect 100% battery health and everything else looked technically fine, the buyer was left entirely dependent on this sketchy local seller for any future warranty support. No thanks. Finally, Section 6, Spotting Diagnostic Red Flags. So when you run this test, you get a score, and 100 is basically the magic number. This number represents the absolute perfect test score of an untouched, brand new device. For instance, our sources noted that when a brand new, officially purchased iPhone 12 Pro Max was scanned, literally right out of the box, it scored a perfect 100. Absolutely zero internal changes, with every single part matching perfectly with Apple's database. But things get a little tricky when a phone has been opened up. There is a really critical difference in the diagnostic report when an official Apple part is used versus a part from a local unauthorized repair shop. You see, if Apple repairs it, the new serial numbers are updated in their official database, so your score remains totally clean. But if a local shop does it, the hardware serial numbers inside the phone no longer match what Apple thinks should be in there. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact point. Our source highlighted an old USA model iPhone 4S from way back in 2012. It had its front and rear cameras replaced at a local, unauthorized repair shop. So when they plugged it into 3 Tools, the camera fields triggered immediate red flags, loudly displaying the word unmatched in bright red letters. The production values just simply didn't line up with Apple's factory records anymore. But here's where a little bit of nuance is super important. Because despite that glaring red text for the local camera repair, this trusty old iPhone 4S still achieved a really solid 98% score on 3U Tools. The software even showed it still had 82% battery health after all those years, which again is something you couldn't check natively on iOS for a phone that old. So a single red flag for a known repair, really not the end of the world as long as the seller was upfront and honest about it. However, you really have to contrast that minor 4S repair with a true disaster scenario. Our source highlighted an iPhone 7 Plus that had undergone multiple severe hardware modifications. When they scanned it, the report was absolutely drowning in red flags. Almost nothing matched, which resulted in a terrible, abysmal diagnostic score. If you ever scan a phone you just bought and see a report looking like a literal sea of red, you know for sure you've been sold a completely rebuilt, untrustworthy device. Which leaves us with this final, absolutely crucial question. The next time you're browsing online and you spot a deal on a used iPhone that just looks way, way too good to be true, what are you going to do? Are you going to demand a photo of the box and double-check that serial number prefix? Are you going to plug it into 3U Tools to uncover the real truth? Or are you just going to cross your fingers, hit buy, and hope for the best? Look, with these tools and steps, you now have the exact blueprint you need to navigate the secondhand market safely. Use it.